The name of this tune is Mississippi Goddamn. And I mean every word of it. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi Goddamn. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi Goddamn. Can't you see it? Can't you feel it? It's all in the air. I can't stand the pressure much longer. Somebody say a prayer. Alabama's gotten me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi Goddamn. This is a show tune, but the show hasn't been written for it yet. Hound dogs on my trail, school children sitting in jail, black cat cross my path. I think every day's gonna be my last. Lord have mercy on this land of mine. We all gonna get it in due time. I don't belong here, I don't belong there. I've even stopped believing in prayer. Don't tell me, I'll tell you. Me and my people just about do. I've been there, so I know. Keep on saying, go slow. But that's just the trouble. Washing the windows, picking the cotton. You're just plain rotten. You're too damn lazy. You're thinking it's crazy. Where am I going? What am I doing? I don't know. Just try to do your very best. Stand up, be counted with all the rest. 'Cause everybody knows about Mississippi Goddamn. I bet you thought I was kidding, dude. Picket lines, school boycotts. They try to say it's a communist plot. All I want is equality for my sister, my brother, my people, and me. Yes, you lied to me all these years. You told me to wash and clean my ears and talk real fine, just like a lady. And you'd stop calling me Sister Sadie. Oh, this whole country is full of lies. You all gonna die and die like flies. I don't trust you anymore. Keep on saying, go slow. Go slow. Well, that's just the trouble. Desegregation, mass participation, unification, do things gradually, but bring more tragedy. Why don't you see it? Why don't you feel it? I don't know. You don't have to live next to me. Just give me my equality. Everybody knows about Mississippi. Everybody knows about Alabama. Everybody knows about Mississippi. That's it.
Good evening. My name is George Bracy, and this is Trans World. I'd like to begin by saying that this isn't a show specifically speaking to gender identification. It's a show that speaks to the realities of our lives, being that our lives, individually and collectively, goes through a cycle of transitioning. Also, our lives intersect with one another. We engages in cross trafficking, cross bordering, crossroads. So our interactions is intersecting. Then combined with those two concepts or realities, it has the end result is transformative. We're transformed by these combined experiences. And I have a very special guest who's very talented, as well as creative uh, ha- uh, craft, creative arts and craft. Plus, she has been a community activist from her home state, New York City. And I met her a while back at a couple of transgenders groups, and I've always liked her because she was she reminded me of a variety of homegirls that I've known in the past that are no longer with us. But with that being said, I'll let her introduce herself to you.
Hi, Georgie, if you don't mind. Thank you very much for that introduction. I like it especially when you recognize that I had a history of activism. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous. Okay, I started off as a child at the age of 7 or 8, and well, as you know, I was a boy, and would we would do Black Solidarity marches in Holy Rosary Martin de Porres school. It was a Catholic school, and then years later, I did in 1995 Earth celebrations with Felicia Young because the community was getting very slummy, and then we were the first to start doing all the gardens coalitions. After that, I was with Contract on America. No, me around the same time I was on Contract on America against Newt Gingrich and the rhetoric against the poor, and then uh, back to the Garden Coalition. I would go to City Hall. I would do lobbying for the gardens, and then we got the gardens in. And then years later, a couple of years later, after that, I I came out to my mom. See, I lived with my mother until I was 35, and she didn't like it, and she kind of told me to leave. And I was homeless for 5 months. And while I was homeless, I was fighting for transgender rights and my own rights. Um, and I remember people like Moshe Moses, Barbara Cassis, Arlene Hoffman, and we fought for the right to use the same bathroom as sex women, sex gender women. So, let me see. After that, I had mental problems. I was mentally incapacitated and I was homeless. So, my godfather, he was my chosen godfather. His name was Jay Hayden, and he lived in Harlem. And I remember a lot of good times with him. Before that, I lived for about 6 months at Transy House with Sylvia Rivera. I lived with Sylvia Rivera before she died, and her lover Julia, and Dr. Rusty, and Chelsea. Hey. Uh, so let's see. So after that, um, then Jay was going to get thrown out of his apartment, and I had to move to the Bronx. And then, in order for me to live in that housing, it was like a room. It was like it was like supported housing, whatever you want to call it. But I had to take medication to live there, so I was on Risperdal and Wellbutrin. And then that stuff I've noticed caused me not to speak when I was doing my therapy, and I didn't like going to therapy and not speaking. So I was cheating and not taking my medicine. So I was ordered to uh, to have the medication directed to me. Then I meet a young lady named Sadesha Shimmers, who's my goddaughter. She was homeless, and my heart went out to her, so I adopted her, and we moved in together in 2007. It was kind of a rocky situation between us, and we lasted from New York to Pennsylvania to San Francisco, and that's how I pretty much got here. So to make a long story short, we parted ways at 2011, and we sort of reunited, and the relationship is a little bit better, just like my relationship between my mother was a little bit better. My mother died last year of pancreatic cancer, and you know, ups to my mom, and God rest her soul. Let me see. So here I am. I'm in San Francisco, as Georgie explained. Our lives lead us to very turbulent yet challenging situations, and I'm pretty much doing the best I can. I'm still an artist. I study art, I study film, and I study animation, and that's pretty much who I am.
Well, tell me, and tell them, the viewing audience, what is it about your transitioning that's a challenge to you today? What challenges do you have concerning your transitioning?
Uh, well, uh, sex gender people consider us to have gender dysphoria. Uh,
And what's that?
Gender dysphoria is a fear of not being the person that you say you are, or a fear of not looking like the person that you aspire to be. But that's not really my problem. I think the gender dysphoria is in the eyes of people who are watching me, or in the eye of the people who notice, quote unquote, my past. Um, I really don't care about what people think of me as long as they respect me and I respect them.
Okay, well, tell me, you have you're doing a show and tell right now.
Hmm.
So, what is it that you want to show to the viewing public that would
Okay.
help them better to better understand your
Well,
your internalized transition, whatever it is.
to begin with, I was walking down the street uh, by City Hall, and I noticed a red book on the ground, and it was called the red book. I'm sorry. Right here. It's called. Can we get a close up on that? Or
That's
should I
about
bring
as
it up
close
to the?
as it's gonna get.
Should I bring it up to the?
No, sit because you.
All right. It's called Trans I Me, something like that. It's called Trans. Oh, Trans Time. I'm sorry. And it has a lot of people like Christina Jorgensen, um, and a lot of trans people from the past. It goes all the way back thousands of years, almost to the beginning of time. Um, okay, this page here. This is me in 1991 when I quit Macy's. Thank you. I quit Macy's and I started modeling, and obviously these people took my money and left town, so I'm no longer a model. However, I didn't feel like the person you see in the suit. I felt more like this person here, which was all and well. So that was a year before I started transitioning, and then I started transitioning in 2002. No, I'm sorry, 1992, the next year. Um, this is a drawing I made about me and myself being at one with two sexes. Being, I'm part, I'm part Native American, so I consider myself bilateral sexual, two spirited. So this drawing was made in on April 1994. This here is a picture of Sylvia Rivera, a younger picture of Sylvia Rivera. She was born Mendoza Rivera, and she was born in 1951, and she died 2002. And we all in New York City would attend her funeral. This is my name. I'm sorry. My name change documents. It's a copy of my. It's not the real document, but it's a copy of my name change document. This is Octavia, a good friend of mine from New York City. This is just a picture of me in 2003. And this is a glamour picture that. I'm sorry. I need to learn the yin and yang of the camera. All right, thank you. A glamour picture that my goddaughter, Sadeja Simmons, helped me get together. Down here is an interesting tutorial about what a man and a woman feels like toward a person who looks like either or. Now, this is the interesting part of my board because I think a human being, whether it be male or female, is made like piano keys. The white keys representing the males and the black keys representing the female, which is a higher register. So from here, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wish I can get a close up on it.
Don't worry about just.
Oh, I'll point. Okay. So from here is a very male person. Down here, it looks like he's about 25. In the middle, androgynous. Right here, more female. And over here, extremely female. So that's like the piano keys of the average human. Whether they want to believe it or not, people are born that way. And I'm not saying that the world is transgender. It's not what I'm saying at all. People are judging themselves from the genitalia, if you don't mind me saying so. And they consider themselves what they are through genitalia. And I don't think this is a very important thing about being trans, that genitalia determines a trans person. In other words, a trans person might have male or female genitalia, but they might wind up in binary positions, meaning female feeling like male and male feeling like female.
But then there's also trans that have both.
Yeah, that's called.
And we know a few that do.
Yeah, there is a couple like this young lady over here. Her name is Anastasia. She's about to leave town, so she is considered hermaphrodite.
Yeah, but she had her surgery, so she says.
Well, I don't think.
She says she had her surgery.
I don't think they will lie about that.
Well, right then. So she's not that anymore.
Yeah. So this is all like. Wait a minute. Up here, there's some history.
Well, you have to lower it down.
An African person up here from Africa, and there's an Indian, a Hydra, Shidra or Hydra. Considered.
And what's the Hydra?
Hydra.
What's the Hydra? Explain that.
A Hydra is a transgender female. Used to be born male, but they had their male genitalia removed. I don't know, being that in India they have a different procedure, and I don't know how they do it over there, but they had all I can say is that they had male genitalia removed. Now down here is just a two-spirited person, obviously born male, but lives as female.
And the one on top is what?
Is a young lady from Africa, born male, a boy, assuming role as female from Africa.
But without the surgery?
No,
Or
this
with the surgery? No.
this person just has been castrated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was me in 1991 before I
Wait a minute.
transitioned.
Can't see. Okay.
Very handsome cat, but I didn't feel like handsome. I felt more like pretty. All right, that takes care of this part. Thanks very much for your patience. This is where the book becomes more historical. And it starts at, I got it, 15.
You can't see it up there.
I'm sorry. This one?
No. There. Right there.
All right.
Now you see.
Okay, it starts at 15C.
15C what?
Is it BC?
Oh, BC.
Yeah, but it's written here 15C. I don't know why they've written it like that. Hatos Sherpet, a born a woman who ruled Egypt, dressed in male and was respected as a god king. There was early evidence to female transsexual. Sorry, my reading's kind of blah blah blah. Well, blah, 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 involved the worship of the great mother and intersex deity. So I hope that makes sense to the audience. Over here is John the Baptist from the Bible. Thank you. Okay, this is John the Baptist. He was androgynous.
Where? Point it out.
Right here.
Okay.
And so this is John the Baptist. He was androgynous, long hair, the whole bit, very soft skin, and people with as long as he had clothes on, they couldn't tell him between a male or a female. So over here. Greek mythology. This is another androgynous goddess. In other words, it's a woman. You can see the feet there, very dainty in the arms and everything. But she grew a beard. Some women, like I said in the earlier part of this of the board, some people grow facial hair, whether you're a man or a woman. And that just has something to do with the way you're born and how your genes are alike. So this person ruled as a king, but it was a woman. She just happened to grow a beard. I think this is Christian church, the early Christian church. This is the year 691 CE, and I don't know why they put it. I would say CE. I don't know. They put the code CE. So the early Christian church would denounce cross-dressing. Also, canonized 20 or so female saints who cross-dress, live as men and wore full beards.
So you're saying back during the Christian early dynasty, the Christian religion.
Exactly.
They had transgender.
They had transgender gods and male or female gods. Yeah.
Then that sounds like it sounds like a.
Well, the six that the average person would say that would be blasphemy, right?
No, I was thinking more in terms of it being that they were. You said you mixed with gods. I'm thinking in terms that they were priests. You know.
Yeah, they were priests and shamans.
that conducted the services,
Mm-hmm.
in the temples.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you got that information is based on what?
On the book, Trans Time.
Oh, okay.
And this goes back beyond thousands of years, almost to the beginning of time. I think this is Joan.
And the next one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Joan of Arc. This is the one everybody talks about, and Joan would be considered a butch today if she had lived and was a person who was really about, you know, fighting for the people. Back then, eunuchs and trans there wasn't a name for us. There was like it was called eunuchs, or like in the 50s they called us transvestites. And they did that all the way into 2000. Yeah, and then it started with the transvestite transition into transgender, and that was more a political correct terminology of it. Over here is an African queen. Thank you. An African queen, Nezaja King of, well, she was born male, but she rules a androgynous king. That means she ruled this king even though she looked like a female, but was born male. So she had a lot to do with the French colonies, and they recognized her to be royalty. And it doesn't say what part of Africa would have been better if it said what part of Africa it was she ruled in. So over here, Mary East, 1714. Mary East takes the name James Howe and lives in the female friend as married couple. In other words, this person would be considered a pseudo lesbian or a butch lesbian. Hannah Snell announced to her fellow soldiers in the Royal Marines that is really a woman after serving the regiment for over 2 years. The Royal Chelsea Hospital officially recognized Snell military service and granted her a lifetime position. How nice. Okay, now we go to France in 1777. Ian de Bonnant, and the French words, being I'm an ignorant old American, was ordered to dress permanently as a woman, which he did. Back in those days, they call him he, even though she looks very female, until his death. He was most famous cross-dresser. Well, he was cross-dresser. He wasn't trans. Well, he was under the umbrella of trans, but he was cross-dresser. 18th century as a secret French agent. Oh, that's like a decoy for the police. Like if I was still Ms.Rawles Jr. and I worked as a decoy for the police, that's pretty much what. And I'm looking at her and it's confusing me saying because I gotta say she, because of her neck and a small head. Anyway, Louis XV and was lady companion to Empress as Elizabeth. This is a doctor, 1859, a Dr. James Berry, biologically born female, was forced into early r- red. Can you help me out there?
I have to get my glasses.
Me too.
Keep talking until
Okay, was blah blah blah. Doctor was born female into early. Oh, I'm sorry, retirement.
Dr. James Berry, biologically female, was forced into early retirement. He picked quarrels, fought a duel, flirted outrageously with the ladies, and once horsewhipped a colonel in public. Carl Posey, biographer, 1859.
How about that? So then we go to the 1860s. Now this guy I like because of the way he's dressed. This is 1860s. Franklin Thompson. Original name was Sarah Edmundell. Fought with the Union. How about that? Along with the some 400 other Civil War soldiers, discovered to have been female. William Cathy, born into slavery, Cathy Williams, served from 2 years as a private in the 38th U.S. Infantry, 1866.
It looks like 1868.
8, yeah. Thank you. So this is another two-spirited, I think, Native American. No, I'm sorry, it's Hawaiian. Waya, the born Sunni princess, goes to Washington, D.C. as a cultural ambassador. But I believe this person, she might be from America, but I believe the person's from Hawaii. I mean, that's about all it says about that. This gentleman here reminds me of Lucy in male drag. But his name was 1889, Ray Leonard, my original name, dressing as a man doing the name Ray. He becomes a very well-loved and admired member of the town. His cobbling shop becomes the town's hangout for men, trading, gossip, and fishing stories. And Ray even fought another man for a woman and he was interested in. So that's 1889. So that's about all I can. I mean, to cover the whole book, I would have to bring 4 or 5 boards, and I don't know how much time I have.
No, thank you. That wouldn't have worked on this program.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, in all of your experiences transitioning, what is it about it that you find agreeable?
My self-esteem.
What do you mean, your self-esteem?
Well, before I transitioned...
Get back over in the frame.
I'm sorry. Hi. Before I transitioned, my self-esteem was kind of very low. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was like about a 5. Struggling up to a 6. And after I became androgynous in 1992, it lifted. Everything lifted. It was like it was a freedom that I never felt before. And I was taking estrogen supplements back then before I discovered, or before I got to take hormones. I was taking supplements, and it got rid of upper body tone and made my body more shapely. And I was very young, so my body was reacting the right way to it.
And now, in your much more mature years, what is it doing for you? Is it working for you or working against you?
Oh, yeah. The first hormones I was on was Premarin, And Primrose was okay, but it made me too emotional. So then I took estradiol. Estradiol was terrible because it made me cramp something fierce and it made me bleed in the shower. And I'm not gonna get into the the gist of that cramping and bleeding. And I thought that was so I stopped taking that because I was afraid something terrible was gonna happen to my body, other than something good happening to it. So now I just take spirulactone and I take natural curves.
Well, tell me, there's a big push for the transgender surgery, the sex reassignments,
Yeah.
and I've always stated, I said several, I spoke this openly before. A lot of people who are rushing to have that surgery that are practicing drug users
Mm.
who have uh, disclosed and undisclosed mental health challenges
Mm-hmm.
and who are in chronically unstable housing situations
Yeah.
and they don't have adequate income to maintain the post-op or pre-op requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, there's a whole lot of reasons, to have it, if you just want to sum it up to a psychological comfort thing. But the reality of it is that when you don't have stability or sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
then it's you're wasting you're wasting. It's a waste of the program. You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to say this. First of all, when you make a decision, I don't think that drugs should be in the equation. Obviously, they got some kind of money to get the drugs because the drugs are a pretty penny. First of all, and if you're gonna take drug, it's either because drugs knocks out it self defeats your transition when you can't afford the operation and you want to do all that good stuff that makes your body look, as they say, good. So if you take hormones and you take drugs, I came from New York City, and where I'm from, I had a lot of education about all kinds of barbiturates and amphetamines and uh, crack cocaine and all this. And they asked the question, what do you think that this stuff is going to do to you in 10, 20 years? Well, I'll tell you what it's going to do to you. It's going to get rid of your youth. It's going to make you look like the walking dead. And it's going to get rid of your energy. It's going to get rid of you. You won't even, you look in the mirror one day and you won't even recognize yourself. That's even worse than not taking the hormones at all. So I would, and also I want to say too, in San Francisco, they lied to the girls. They really lied to the
What do
girls
you mean? Lie to the girl?
because they said if you're gonna be a mama, right, you're gonna have to get down with the crew and start shooting up and everything, and
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What?
yeah, you have to
They're
take
promoting.
you have to take drugs in order to be a good transgender.
Wait a minute. What? Are we talking about the same drugs? I'm talking about heroin,
Yeah.
speed,
Uh-huh.
and they're advocating taking that
That's
on
what
top of.
people who like the deal. I don't want to.
Well, go ahead. Just talk. It's uncensored. Just.
I just want to say people lie to transgender girls because first of all they don't want to
Well,
see
now I want to know who lied to the transgender girls community.
people who are not
No.
society.
No. 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 Be more specific.
Be
Who
more
lied?
specific. Okay, the people who they deal
You
with.
don't work for DPS, so where did the lie come from?
The lie comes from the environment.
What environment?
Well, if you let me, I'll tell you.
Okay, tell us.
All right, the Johns for one thing, the police, if so facto, undercover, the dealers, people like that they deal with in the bars and the environment in the street. Hey,
Well, I
you
thought
want
you
to
were
feel
talking about
good?
the people, the clinicians, at the ones who are dispensing these services. That's what I thought you were referring to.
I'm not sure I know what that means.
I thought you was talking about the people that works in the capacity of Department of Public Health.
No, no, no. They got another vested interest of, I'm sure, but that's
Okay, so
probably not one
it's
of them.
not okay, but you're talking about uh, the people that the girls encounter in their daily lives. You know, whether they be sex workers or just beauty
I
queens who's trying to live, you know, as they call stealth, and have these relationships with these boyfriends and these husbands and stuff that
I'll
kind of.
talk about that in a minute too.
Oh, okay. Well, it's your
What
show. Go
what, what
ahead,
I
talk.
was talking about was the stuff that comes with the sex work and being in the street, the nighttime living.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got brothers coming up to you talk about, you want something to make you feel good, you want this, you want that. You know you I mean you perform better and all. And no, I mean if you're 16, when you're
Has
16,
that ever happened to you?
oh yeah,
I mean, for you to be
oh
talking
yeah, I
on
wasn't
this
even
subject.
16. I transitioned like in my late 20s.
So you're saying during your transitioning,
Yeah,
you had all these offers,
I had some offers,
yeah,
not a lot, but
to
some.
compromise your transition
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of indulging in risky behaviors.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it wasn't about it wasn't about me having fun. It was about them making money off of my expense,
Yeah.
my
Okay.
health,
Hmm.
my youth, and all that. And so, being that I had the
He was being
education,
exploited.
yeah, being that I had the education I had about drugs from from school and from the media, I said no, thank you, because if I do one thing, then I'll defeat another. And what's the sense of me? What's the sense of having good sex if you can't remember what happened the next day?
Hmm. Well, okay. Moving right along. What is this right here that you have? These muffets. Let's talk about that.
Oh, I like to make Muppets.
Well, sure.
You know, as you
So,
as you
what
can
was the
see,
process? What was the process?
yeah, the process is foam and fabric.
What did you do? I mean, you know, how did you get? Because they look like they were store bought.
Yeah. Well, to begin with, we got a
But
couple of minutes.
you actually made them yourself.
I made them by hand, and I was always interested in Jim Henson's work, and I was hoping someday I could be. This one's a little bit messed up, but let me see if I can. Yeah, because this one the foam is folded in, and so I'm just gonna. I'll save it for later another time. Anyway, like this one here. Nice. So for years I've been learning how to do Muppets only because when I was a little baby, I used to watch them on Ed Sullivan, and then all of a sudden Sesame Street came out, and I just call this one Amanda. And the way to build these is this is the traditional like Sesame Street character, but this is an AM, and the AM means that you can make the puppet anything, and in a sense is sort of a transgender. It's not a transgender puppet, but AM is like transgenders, but you can make them any way you want them to be because they have no chronological genitalia like that. And I just I like to build them because I use patterns for the head, and the nose is very simple to make, and I pick up little things from the street like little glasses and stuff. She's losing her
So, are these a representation of your altered personalities?
Uh, no. This is something I do for a hobby. I make them, and I like the way they look, and sometimes I charge a small price for them. And so I'm trying to start my own business. This is only one part of my business, Muppet replicas, and the other part is timeless classics, relics, and replicas.
Timeless who? What?
I'm sorry. Timeless classics, relics, and replicas. Okay, this is an art that called. This is an art that's called mid-century art, and what I like about it is it makes me feel. It gives me a positive feeling about the past, even though we didn't have it all that great as people of color and trans people. But I just love the way that this Laurie's Diner. I can tell by the signature that this was painted by Bradshaw Crandall. Bradshaw Crandall was a person who used to work with Sunbloom and Coca-Cola. This is Sunbloom, Quaker Oats Man. Obviously, this is the Coca-Cola Santa Claus from Sunbloom. And this is from 1917 or 1911 from Hustler magazine. And these are little reprints that I bought from the bookstore. Some I found from Uncle Ben's rice, and I just cut it out and use it for. Sometime I would blow it up and put it on my wall. And this is like something. As an artist, it could be Gil Evergreen, or he's doing some promotion and stuff like this. Is Little Debbie's again. That's Sunbloom. So and so my company will be called Timeless. I'm trying to found the Timeless Classics, Relics, and Replicas, where I take little flat pieces of work and blow them up and make them into creative little things that you want to put on your wall and stuff. I think people would like it. I like it because this artist here is a new old art. She's new, but she likes doing old stuff. And so I would consider this piece here it's a retro piece. So pretty much all I have to say about that.
Okay, you have any more show and tell?
Oh, okay. So this one, I just put it together, and I forgot to bring my sign. So, Sesame Street AM puppet have at least about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns of puppet, and each puppet is made to look. They're made in a pattern, but they're dressed differently to make them look like different people. This one I built her, and I just cut a long piece of foam and I folded it and I wrapped it on the top, and I cut like little folds on the top of the head and sealed it with duct tape on the inside. And I call her Amanda. Hello, hi Growl, hi Georgie, how are ya? And so I call her Amanda. She's like a .com type of puppet personality. My favorite one was when I was a little kid, and Jim Henson. He discontinued him in 1970, and his name was Professor Hastings. Now I got this Professor Hastings. I made this one in the form of the spinning wheels Professor Hastings dress. Even though the spinning wheels Professor Hastings had brown hair, or he had like I gotta use some more quality material so things won't fall apart here. For some reason, I didn't want to put a mustache on him because he could represent like a Professor Hastings, from the future, from Offspring. But this one, the one with the mustache, is the he's the lecturer, Alistair Hastings. So that one was discontinued because Jim Henson thought the delivery was too slow, and he kept falling asleep. But I think that Professor Hastings inspired Tim Conway for Carol Burnett, the old man, and things like that. Yeah. Thank you for your tutorial. Quite. That way. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm an impersonator, so it makes it kind of easier for me to kind of do these.
An impersonator? What do you mean impersonator?
When I was in Pennsylvania, I used to do shows I did Ella Fitzgerald. I did Diana. I tried to do Billie Holiday, and it was pretty good. But it was a copy of Billie Holiday. I don't know. We have time to go through all that. Uh, so I made my own Kermit the Frog. You know, a little tight here. Uh, and usually these puppets have arm rods. Jocelyn, something's wrong with the frog here. First of all, I ain't got one arm rod, okay? And second of all, it's not, you didn't do a very good job here. What's the matter? You busy? Yeah. So, that's my Kermit the Frog impersonation. Oh, wow. So, hey, boys and girls. I feel a little bit half naked, but I'm Kermit the Frog, or Kermit the Frog the replica, as you can see. And I'm here with Jocelyn, and she built me in her room. And she has like a workshop with all the Muppets inside of it. And slowly but surely, she's, getting it neat and getting it together. Thank you. Whew. So, and Ernie, he's a three-handed puppet. I only got one hand to work with, two hands. So I couldn't find. I think I ran out of his regular sweater stuff. So I made it into a tie, and I didn't know we was gonna be on television. But since we're on television, hi. I can't feel my hands. Okay, because my hands isn't in your hand yet. Okay. Some characters have four fingers in the Muppet world. Let me move these characters out of the way. Thank you, Ernie. And some characters have, oh, wow. Wow, am I going on a job interview or something? No, you're on TV. Oh, oh my. I'm on television. I didn't know that. Oh, well, where's the cue card? Where's the cue card? I need a cue card. Don't worry about that. He's just doing a little tutorial about my puppet making. Oh, well, my nose is a little wobbly, but I hope you don't mind, huh? Hi. Usually I'm with my rubber ducky, but for some reason I'm dressed very formally, and I don't have my rubber ducky. And I'm starting to feel sad. Okay. How much time we got? So this is Grover. This is my Grover puppet that I made in New York. Looks pretty good, don't it? On TV. Hey, Georgie, baby! How do you do, Georgie? I love the name Georgie because it almost sounds like Grover. So, so what do y'all think about that?
And who's the pink one back there?
Oh, it's a little girl. Cute little girl puppet.
And you sure none of those are your alter egos?
No, I forgot to bring my drawings, but my drawings are somewhere. Probably in the hallway, and I'll show them to you maybe another time. I'm working on some original puppets that I'm going to probably put on YouTube sooner or later. I just got to make sure that they look okay before I get them on there.
And you made all of them by hand, huh?
Made them all by hand.
Without no sewing machine or anything?
No sewing machine. Don't know how to use a sewing machine, but... Hi! My name is Christina. Or Alice, or what... Oh, my eye's falling. Okay. Or whoever you want me to be. I am at Sesame Street AM, and I'm glad to be here. And thank you, George, for having us over. Oh, your pen didn't go up in there. See, I wish I had that sticky stuff that Jim Henson used to use for his original things. It was Velcro or something. I'm actually $10 if anybody in the audience would like one of us. Thank you. So.
Oh, you know, you should bring some of that to open mics and do some open mic and do some performances at open mic.
Oh, I will. Them performances, especially with my original characters, they're gonna get hotter and hotter. So how much time do we have?
You don't have any more conversation? You don't have no other kind of nothing to talk about? Because I can assist you with that.
Yeah, ask me a question.
So tell me,
it's kind of hot in here.
Since I've been knowing you, you always had concerns or issues with the way certain service providers were treating you.
I'll give you an example of that. My building. Well, I'm going to refrain from telling you where I live right now.
I never knew where you lived to begin with, so that had never came up in any conversations that we had.
All right,
and I was never interested in knowing where you lived. It's a need to know, and I don't need to know.
For the interest of time, I'm gonna be doing. Let me see. I'm gonna be doing a report for Poor Magazine, just like you do here. And I'm going to give you an example.
Oh, they're out of the East Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah.
And this is done by Tony's wife at Disability and Senior Action. And I'm going to be very ecstatic to represent the trans community in that way.
What do you mean? You're going to be very
ecstatic to represent the trans community.
What are you representing?
Well, I'm going to walk around. I'm going to talk about how the trans are being treated. Do we like the life we live around situations, people, places, and things, or, things of that nature? And then I'm going to expose, kind of what shouldn't be done.
Well, give us a highlight. You don't have to go into details. Or specifics.
I don't know what my subject is going to be yet because I'm not there.
What I'm talking about. From your own actual experience, talk from that.
Oh, I was about to tell you about where I live. So I live in a place called it's called supportive housing, but it's not supportive housing to me, because this place that I live pretty much is interested in. Well, they go by the income first of all. But if you have a job, they wanna take the money to the point where you're back where you got started. In other words, you have no chance of making ends meet. So I have ways of combating that.
So
situation.
You're saying that particular housing circumstance doesn't it's disabling. It doesn't enable you to get into much more.
It is low income. That's a good thing.
Is it an SRO?
It's a studio, like
it is
an SRO,
SROs,
and
right.
they let you have like overnight visitors at 14 days. After that, no more visitors.
Well, what I'm alluding to, what I'm trying to speak specifically to is this. I know that supportive housing is supposed to have different structural dynamics to it, like social worker, mental health.
They're supposed to have.
Yeah, they're supposed, but they don't. But they have them in. They have them there on the premises, but they're not invested in that.
Yeah, in other words, it's called figurehead. They used to call it skeleton staff, which is irritating. Either you're going to do a job or you're not going to do a job. If someone needs your help, you can't have picks and chooses. You can't discriminate. And I want to say one other thing about discrimination. People do it. Maybe they don't realize they're doing it, but they do it, and they don't tell you why. See, like back in the days, they'll tell you we don't serve your kind, or they'll tell you you're not real, you're not a real person, or they tell you you're under arrest for impersonating a woman, or something dumb like that. But now instead of telling you that, they just treat you like you don't exist, as opposed to telling you why they're doing it. And then there's no way of you charging them for it, because now the criteria is, are you sure that they're discriminating you or what? But I'm not stupid. I know when I'm being discriminated. I just can't prove what kind of discrimination is supposed to be. In this case, I believe I'm discriminated because I'm sober.
Okay.
Or yeah, because you have to.
So you're saying if you were high or drunk all the time, you would get better access to the services.
I'm matching more of their criteria. If I'm not matching their criteria, then they're going to give me a harder time, and I'm having to do
so
things.
So you're saying they want you to be under the influence?
Yeah.
And they're supposed.
But they're not telling you.
No, but yeah, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
But they want you to be under the influence so they can justify their program, their services.
Yeah.
Okay. In the actuality, it's a fraud. It's fraudulent.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So.
And I think there's something has to be done about that. I need to be in housing where I can be with people I can relate to, I can trust. I don't have anything against you if you're on drugs, but if you're gonna mess up your life, don't mess up mine. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know, because I'm into taking care of myself as a lady. I can go out and have a good time and have a couple of drinks. That's it. You know, but I'm just saying. I seen people in my building that, check this out. There was a lady. She was a prostitute also, and her name was Paige, and she got killed. And something like my phone. She hung around with the wrong crowd. In other words, she was about 60-something years old, and somebody killed her, and nobody knew for 4 days. And one of the people from down the hallway, like, they knocked on her door and they found her dead. Well, before she died, like a year ago before, she flooded 4 apartments. She got high on crack, and she I don't know what happened. And she had a something lit, like a pipe in her hand or whatever, and she fell asleep. Her and her boyfriend fell asleep and burnt up the sofa. The sofa burned up. She freaked out, ran out in the hallway, and she pulled the emergency water sprinkler, and I was gone. My aunt was in the house. And so she pulled the emergency water sprinkler, and it flooded 4 apartments, including mine. So cleaning my floors is not as easy as it used to be. But because of her, you know, things like that happen. And had I would have done something like that, I would have got kicked out. I screamed to the manager, you should take her and put her in hotel, Civic Center Hotel. And he didn't say nothing because he's having an affair with her. I believe he's having an affair with her. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, has there been any other transgender-related issues that present themselves as barriers to, like, education and employment? Talk about employment, because I know that you were challenged by the LGBT Center on Market Street. I remember you went there a couple of times seeking services. What happened with that? Because I always said they had their picks and chooses. If you're pretty black, trans, and with education,
I'm all that.
But I know. But listen, hear me out now. Okay. Hear me out. If you're pretty black, trans, with a degree,
maybe white.
No, I said pretty black trans
with a degree.
A degree.
I heard you. Yeah.
They'll give you access. If you're pretty black trans with insufficient background, resume, employment, education background, okay, you get nothing. You don't even get.
Or if you're too old.
Yeah, well, that's a different category altogether. But you don't get nothing. You know, you get the runaround.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what I've been getting
and
to.
yeah, and so I know that when you was pursuing gainful employment based on when they first opened at that thing, and when they do those transgender jobs,
Job fairs.
I wonder how. And I know you go to them.
Yeah, I've been going to them.
Right, and have you seen evidence of black trans being hired or even participating in that small business program they have, or that lending circle? They have a lending circle where if you put $100 into an account there, that
Oh,
you
you
can.
have to have $100.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
told.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably why I couldn't do it.
And you get $500 back. At the I mean, you can borrow $500, and and as you pay it off, that improves your credit.
Yeah, no
And
one.
but no blacks are participating. No blacks that go there that I know of is participating in that. I wonder why. But then they also have um see, I can't. I go to these places and I surveil them.
Yeah.
And
Survey them.
No,
Yeah,
I do
so-
the surveillance, not surveying.
All right, I hear that. But you have a
Because-
point. You know why? Because I went for the business development plan program, and they pretty much told me I had to come up with the money myself. I didn't know they loaned $500. I didn't know.
Yeah, they have a lending circle.
I didn't even know I can put in 50 and get me out of loan. I didn't know nothing like that. It would have been nice if I'd have known that, but I didn't know that. So the director pretty much for the employment part is Claire Farley, and there was another young man that I spoke to. He was white, but I forgot his name. He had a beard, he had red hair and a beard, and he was one that told me about the business program, and he pretty much told me that what I had to do was come up with all the money myself, and then we'll just guide you, you know.
Well, that's not
And,
how I understand that program
yeah.
works.
They must have lied to me.
Yeah, well, that's not how I understand it to work. And when you go online and look at those programs, you can see, then you have to go a little bit deeper into researching it. But no, I don't see them. That's another organization that's a cash cow as far as I'm concerned. It's exclusively for whites and
That's what I was about to say.
immigrants. European
Immigrants.
Yeah, the Europeans that come there.
Now you speaking my language.
Yeah, because they have a program where they call them SNAP or something. No, it's not SNAP. Well, they mentor them. They like escorts or whatever. To help them navigate the city and hang out and that kind of stuff.
I think that came from NAFTA years ago in the 90s. And I used to actually fight for NAFTA. And I'm sorry I did because I got no kickback for it.
I don't know what made you think that you was entitled to a kickback.
No, because I think, this is my thing of it. I think people in America who are poor, they got a right to get back on their feet. And if you want somebody to get off a disability, then at least give them a chance to work for it.
Instead of you mean give them a hand up instead of a hand out.
Yeah, just like they do in the foreigners. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not privy to the way that the business part of the LGBT center works. And you tell me something else. He told me something totally 360 different. So what he told me was I had to come up with the 500 myself. And then I'll guide you through the, this, that, and the other. I said, well, what I'd like to do was get $300 so I can get my peddler's license. And I'll do it, from there, I think I can work it myself.
And they wouldn't go for
and
that.
build. And he said, no, you have to go to City Hall and blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, fine. All right. You're the third person who told me that. Fine. The third person is a killer. All right, fine. I'll try to raise the money if the cops don't stop me first. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to sell my products and things without the police telling me pretty much what I can't do. I've been in San Francisco for 5 years, and the only thing I know and what I'm used to is what I can't do. But I know that I have a talent, and I'm almost half a century old, and I just don't want it to go to waste.
Yeah, I can relate to that. And so, Are you? And I know you had some issues with the mental health department. Services.
Oh
Remember?
yeah,
So talk about that a little bit.
there was Castro Mental Health when I first got here, and then there was Alliance on Market Street, and then the Citywide, near, back at the Safeway. Um, those three were
So
not
you,
existed.
so you went to all the high end, so called high end,
Those were high end.
prestigious
Oh, I didn't know that.
services that cater to that upper Castro group.
Oh,
Whereas you bypassed the Tenderloin and South of Market,
yeah,
like the
because you
West
know
Side
why?
Crisis Clinic and West Side and the others, Norfolk Market, whatever it is. Yeah,
A
but
lot of
you try to get services from a community that had resources.
or so they
Right,
say.
right, right,
Hmm.
right, right, right. Yeah, unlimited resources and better trained clinicians.
Hmm.
Well, let them tell it. They're better trained.
Also, I was trying to get some money for plane fare before my mom died, like Catholic Charities and Season Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
They were hollow,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to take care of my teeth at the Pacific Center on Fifth Street,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctor lied to me saying that your teeth is in turmoil. If you don't do something about it fast, it's gonna go up to your brain, and Lord knows what's gonna happen. So that's gonna take about $3,000. And I said, where am I gonna get $3,000?
They didn't tell you.
So
Well, and then if you had HIV or something of that nature, you could have applied for dental services through the Ryan White program and this other one that they have that place has. They have those provisions.
if I had HIV,
Yeah, but you don't. I'm just saying, And then they have a sliding scale. Mission has quite a few dental, but they're
yeah, they
not.
do.
But they're not free.
Yeah,
They have
and they don't take Anthem, Blue Cross, and
right, and
Medi-Cal
they're
at all.
limited. Right, that's the thing. A lot of them don't take PPOs and Medi-Cal. So and this and the affordability for sliding scale services is out of reach for most trans people.
Yeah, and
You
I'm
know.
afraid to go to Kaiser because I don't know what's going to happen. My aunt's getting a business from, she's getting a business from Kaiser, and I'm afraid to go there. So I'm like, I don't know if I should go back to a healthy San Francisco, or stay with Anthem and Medi-Cal. So I'm at limbo with that.
So what services did you receive from Tom Waddell Clinic? I know you go there to the trans group that they have there on Tuesdays.
I used to.
Oh, you used to. Oh, you stopped going?
Yeah, because we had a transgender group with Brianna, that pretty one from Oakland. But I stopped going because I used to also go to the clinic. And I had the doctors at the clinic. Well, this Tom Waddell clinic I used to go to was on Grove Street,
Right, the one on Grove,
in Van Ness. So the doctors there, I can put on this. I'll put it to you this way: I can put on a white jacket myself and put on one of those things on my head and a stethoscope and say, "Hey, I'm Dr. Jocelyn. How are you?" And I'd be better than the rest of them because I had a doctor named her name was Lynn too, but she was a tweaker. And I said I had problems with my knees, so I came to her for that and my overall health, like my blood pressure and whatnot. So she told me to keep taking the generic Aleve, and I took it, and I got addicted to it, which meant the Aleve stops working after a certain time in my body, and so I would buy the Aleve hoping that it will work again, and it wouldn't work anymore. So eventually I stopped because when I first came to San Francisco, I used to walk with a cane because of my knees. But now I don't walk with a cane because something has gotten better. Maybe some remedy I use or whatever it was has gotten better, but I still have problems getting up and sitting down. I'm only I'm only 49. So
So all in all, can you truthfully say that San Francisco has the best interest heart towards the trans community, let it be trans people of color or not?
more or less for the gay community, but I don't see
What's the
any.
distinction between the gay community and the trans community? I've always felt and to this day believe they're one and the same. So where does that division come in? That separation
We could be under the same umbrella, but there's a lot of people that differ. You have gay, lesbian, questioning transgender, all that business. But when it comes to the transgender, we always got the business from the gay people. You know, quiet is kept. And now what they want to do is try to do things and make it up because they see something coming that they want to look good for. So when this big brother comes that's going to pass out this money or whatever the case may be, they say, okay, they'll stand you up and make you look good and make them look good. And when he passes by after, you know how when you sign up for the grants and everything, then it's the same business as usual. People like Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Johnson, and other transgenders, they're the ones who started. Well, I came from New York, so in my brain, but then there's the San Francisco,
and you can put Miss Major in that category too.
Miss Major,
but
she's from San Francisco, so I can't say much about her.
No, but I'm just saying, she fits that criteria as those girls in New York that you're talking about.
They're the ones that started the queer revolution or the gay movement, because we were the ones, and I say we because my spirit's in there, even though I was like 2-3 years old when it happened. We came out, the gay and the lesbians, that was one thing. They pretend they're straight if they wanted to, and they keep their jobs. But we walk out the house, if we were allowed to live in the house, we walk out of the house, and they see the way we're dressed and everything. Male impersonator, female impersonator, and they would ask us to, let's see if you got an article of male clothing inside your female clothing.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, you can go to jail for wearing heels or blouse or a skirt. Separate pieces, not the whole ensemble. You know, if you wore the whole ensemble, eyelashes, wig, and makeup, and you got the book thrown at you. You know?
They
2 years.
There was a truck waiting in front of the bar every time, and Sylvia and all the girls, they got fished out of the bar and into the truck. And one day they really got tired, and a butch, to my understanding, took a crowbar and turned over the truck, and there was a big riot going on in New York City. Now, in San Francisco, this was like when I was months old. There was the Compton riot act.
Compton was a restaurant up there on Gary.
On Gary.
It was a restaurant that it was considered after hour respite kind of thing where they would go in, when the track was slow, you know.
But that kickoff started before actually Stonewall, so that was kind of interesting. I learned that in 2006, and I really love, because we would go to the theater.
Well, what do you think about this Stonewall movie? That everybody's all so they're all up in there's seventh heaven for that movie.
It matters more to me than actually anybody who watches it, especially younger people, because when they think of pride, they don't know what pride. They have no idea. Young people, they might, if you go to Harvey Milk School, for example, they might know some education about how pride got started, but they might cut out our part of it, and they say, the gay people were the ones who started the pride. No, it was the transgenders, and let's not get it twisted.
There's a group in Los Angeles who were demonstrating against the misappropriation of Black culture in that Stonewall movie that they was premiering, because there wasn't no Black representation
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
in that movie. It
Yeah.
was all Snow Whites, you know. And we all know that that has never been the case, you know. That
I
blacks have always been represented in anything and everything that happened in these cities across this continent, you know.
I just want to say
But we're
too.
always written out of the narrative.
Yeah. I just want to say too. We helped build this country.
Well, aside from that, that's
Yeah.
a known fact, you know.
That's a
But
given. I
yeah,
mean,
but you
it
know,
wouldn't be the country would still be rural all over the country. Wouldn't have no cities. Wouldn't have no. In the Native America, the black and the brown and the poor whites built it. I'm just gonna keep it real like that. So yeah, there's a lot of.
and do you think that this? Do you think the transphobia, disparities, you know, the hardships that is visited upon the trans community, the other people's fear as it relates translate into their as it intersects into their daily lives is going to improve? Do you think that with this marriage equality legislation that we're going the trans community going to have an opportunity to participate in that? I'm talking about, you know, to the extent that they the men or their partners or their future partners can boldly go up and represent themselves in a union like that. And also, do you think that in terms of health and safety that we can walk the streets in numbers without fear of being uh, bashed or verbally assaulted, you know, or having arbitrary random acts of violence or terrorism visited upon us? Here in San Francisco, do you think that our overall quality of life will improve where we can be equitably uh, um, invested and receive benefits that would help to enhance our quality of life as we see it? Do you think that San Francisco is ready to address the transgender population's homelessness and criminalization issues? Where's all the girls at now? They're all in jail. Okay, where are the ones that then came out of jail? They're all in the streets. You know.
I'm gonna put it this way. By my observation, I would have to say that 88.9% are in jail. I'm gonna say that 90% are definitely homeless. A good at least 50% are housed, like me. I'm semi-housed. I'm not even housed, but I'm semi-housed because house is where you pretty much live by your
Yeah, you have your
90% your own rules, but the 100% is the landlord. Um, do I think all those to answer the question? Okay, I would have to say that New York might be first in its place as far as equality because when I left New York, we were batting 1,000 in the equality and lobbying. We were like this, and we went out when we spoke as a collective. Here, there's a lot of lying going on. There's a lot of lying between the social services movement and the social movement, and they're if a transgender have a place to go, like to talk about their rights, and for example, then the social service will kick in and say, "Oh, there's $50 if you go do this, or there's $20 if you go do that."
Go chasing the stipends. That's what they want you to.
Yeah.
Go chase the stipends and don't deal with the policies that's impacting your life.
But something's very pivotal about to happen. Oh,
So
maybe a girl has a job. Actually has a job.
One girl.
And they can't. Yeah. One out of.
Right out of all those
hundreds, thousands,
many thousands,
has a job and said, "Well, I couldn't come because I have it," or they just don't know about it. No one's saying anything about it. Oh, we can. There's some girls that feel like, you know.
I have an issue with not to cross talk you, but check
Mm.
this out. There's this gay community uh, service. They do legal medical advocacy, but it's mainly employment. It's called the Resource Center down there. It's been on there for a
The
while.
Positive Resource
Positive,
Center.
right? Okay, I have yet to see a trans anything
I was the only one there.
go through there and go through the programs and come out of there employed, housed, medical issues resolved, legal issues resolved. I don't know one, white, black, or otherwise. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
to begin with, I just graduated from the Mission and Language Arts. They have Mission Resource and Language Arts. They have excuse me. They have a chef program, which I was in the chef program, and they have a nursing program.
Is that
And I seen-
is that with City College or
No,
DPH?
that was
or?
with the Mission Resources.
Okay,
And that's-
okay.
They're not big at all. They're just
Mm-hmm.
little people trying to get. What I liked about them, they're like a family,
Mm-hmm.
and they get together. It's Spanish based,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like 1% black,
Mm-hmm.
25%, 25 to 50% white. There's some browns in between there, Native American, and mostly Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I went there. The classroom was in English. My class was in English and partially in Spanish. When I was in high school, I got 80s in Spanish, but they never taught me how to speak it fluently. I think it's important for anybody to learn about three to seven different languages,
Oh yeah, bilingual.
so
yeah.
they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I'm a bilingual advocate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tried taking some Hebrew, Spanish, and Armenian and French classes,
But Chinese and Japanese is something I probably would never learn because I just don't see it as a language. It doesn't sound like language to me. I just don't understand it. I can't even pronounce it. You'd have the computer world.
it's like a cross between Pig Latin and Ebonics. You know?
Yeah, but but you know it's good for the computer world because the Japanese they're heading the computer world, which is why I'm not gonna get too. I'm trying not to offend people, but I wouldn't have to if there was equality between foreigners and people who are already here. I can't come to your country and tell you where to go in your country. I'll be like, you know. But to answer your question, I came through the Positive Resource Center through the Mission, Language Arts and stuff like that through the chef program, and when I got there, I got a caseworker that told me I'm supposed to go back to the rehabilitation part, which was at downtown, the financial district.
300.
Yeah.
300.
300
Fremont or something. Yeah,
Sec-
Mission.
y-
Yeah, right.
yeah. Second Street.
Right across the street from the
And-
bus terminal.
yeah.
Right.
And so, until that place,
And that's
as
not what
people-
and that's not where that was Mission would have told you that if you had to go through that.
well, they don't.
But-
Mission don't know that.
But I'm just saying
Yeah.
that was never part of the
Yeah.
that was never part of the program.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was some after bullshit that they just threw up in there, to deter you from pursuing, your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right. You're absolutely right.
bounced-
Because,
they gave you the runaround.
yeah, they
Because
gave me the runaround.
Because you're trans and they don't want to deal with black
Here-
trans.
Here's what I have to do at the Positive Resource Center. In order for me to attend the Positive Resource Center, I would have to go to rehabilitation, get my diagnosis records from New
right,
York.
so that they can get paid
Exactly.
from the
Exactly.
state. Yeah, to be yeah. Mhm.
So the only way I could do that is to get my caseworker from the Mission to email. Let me see, Audrey Lloyd Project and Avature to see. Or I'm sorry, Housing Works to see if my records are still there, so they can
And you know
fax
that-
my records
but
over
they
there,
don't-
and I can get the ball rolling.
They don't keep. They don't. A lot of those places back in the day, they didn't have archives. They don't have archives, and if they do have them, they only go back maybe 10 years or less. But they don't have archives that will hold on to records for 30, 40 years.
Well, no,
I'm just saying.
I left New York in 2008. So,
I'm
so how
just
long
saying.
ago is that?
That's well, that would be if they have that. If they have that in constructed in their infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
If it's there, yeah, you might have it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it might come by way of the film, you know, not the internet. They may, you know, they was I forgot. But anyways, yeah, you know, they would be recorded on film or in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think no. But I'm just saying you didn't need to go to New York to get any verification. Your verification came by way of you being involved in that mission program. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So all that bullshit, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that place and a few others, you know, and even with the disability thing, the rehabilitation service,
Mm-hmm.
you know, unless you're quadriplegic, blind, and whatnot, you know, you're not going to get full access to nothing.
When
They'll send you. They'll let you go to City College. They'll give you maybe a bus pass, and maybe buy your first semester books. But that's it. That's the extent of it. You know,
I have a lot of experience in the working world, especially the food world.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working in the food world pretty much for 15 years.
And is that transferable to you know, to be, making you eligible to work in the hotel, restaurant, culinary industry here?
I don't know. It should be.
Right.
I don't know if it is, but it should be.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You have 15 years.
Yeah.
Of documentable,
Mm-hmm.
verifiable
Proof.
work experience.
Yeah.
And that's not enough to get you hired here?
I don't know. Because I haven't been getting hired. I've been here for 5 miserable years. And
every time you went to apply for a job in that particular field, you didn't
we'll
get
call you back, or, you know, something or other. We'll when we go across your resume, we'll call you. Thank you, sir, ma'am.
Right.
So when I first got to San Francisco, I went to a place called that place on 23rd in Alabama, on 3rd Street. Hireability. Because I thought it was available for me, and I do have a mental problem. So I went to hireability, and I worked with a lady, and she put me in like a series of interviews and stuff like that, but nothing was happening. So this went on from 2010 to 11. So I got tired of hireability, and I left. Because I wanted to go into the cooking program, and for some reason they wouldn't let me in the cooking program. That's where most of my history is at. So people with Down syndrome or something like that did the cooking program. It was one normal guy who was directing it. So I said, how come I can't be there when I got so much experience? And he gave me some excuses to why I couldn't be there. I can't even remember what he said, but he said you're not eligible for it. So I said, damn. And so I'm walking around, and I'm always answering ads where people put things in the window saying, help want a dishwasher. Like this sushi place wanted a dishwasher, and I came up to them and I said, well, it's not rocket science. I can be a dishwasher. We hired people already, but yet the sign's already on the window. Then I got mad and snatched the sign off and threw it in the garbage. And he thought I was being too aggressive. But I got tired of things like that happening between Pennsylvania and New York. The only person who hired me in Pennsylvania is my cousin, China. And she hired me in her restaurant. It was Yummy's restaurant. And that's the most experience I had. Other than that, soup kitchens where I set up, serve, and you know, and sit out the desserts and all that.
But you're not on salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because of that, that doesn't stop me from being a cook and an artist because just like these puppets, I'm good at what I do. I'm good at cooking because I'm not going to stop doing that. And I have a lot of, I'm creating dishes, you know, and I'm thinking about starting my own restaurant, but I need like investment to do that, you know, and to start my business. Timeless classes alone.
You should do electronic cookbook. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you know that would be that could be a start.
I want to do my own 50s themed restaurant called Jizzy Bells.
But I'm just saying that would be the money.
Yeah.
You know, the proceeds from your cookbook will get you closer to that restaurant.
Well, that's another problem I have.
But you can go online and do it.
I can't because I'm not illiterate. I'm not literate.
Computer
Computer literate.
You can go to St. Anthony's Tech Lab and learn all of that. They have that available and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free,
Mm-hmm.
and they do everything.
Yeah, speed is another thing.
It's not going to happen overnight. You have to work at it like you had to work at that and this other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to be willing to put the work in.
But I think I know how to overcome it. I just need to get a dragon, and I'll be fine.
There's no shortcuts, and it sounds like you're looking for.
I mean, I ain't got time to learn how to get a job.
No, I'm not talking about learning how to get a job. I'm saying take the time that you have available to you. Go to St. Anthony's computer lab. They have the state-of-the-art computers. They have private. You can do private tutorials, one-on-one training, study. They have computers that you can just touch. They got touch screen computers.
Yeah, that's what positive resources.
Well, look, don't sit here and talk to me about what you can't do.
I'm not telling you what I can't. I'm just saying, if I try to learn something from a computer as opposed to experience.
I'm not saying learning from. I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying acquire skills. You're building skills. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
You're skill building for the 21st century. This is the 21st fucking century. Okay.
You allowed to say that?
This is uncensored.
Right.
This is the 21st century, okay?
Right.
The millennium that we just entered into, okay? This here, how you did all that by hands, okay? You should let these do all the other that's going to get you to that restaurant. You know what I'm saying? But you had to build your skill level up, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You had to learn. You have to invest in learning something new. And that's only to offset, what you don't have. You see what I'm saying? So, and why not use something like that that's free? You can go there for an hour a day from 10 to 11. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learn how to use this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and as the more you do it, the more you'll learn, and the better you'll be at it. You know what I'm saying? And then you can build on the successes of the small steps you take. That's all I'm saying. None of us have time to revisit bullshit that kept us from doing shit. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is there's places available where you can go and sit your butt down and practice something new.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So, but anyways, that's up to you. In the interest of time, it's time to go. So, you have any last words you want to say to the people out there?
I just want to thank I want to thank you for
Oh, forget
giving me the
about me. It
opportunity
ain't about me. I keep telling you, it's not about me. But go ahead. Thank.
to
Okay,
be on
you're
your
welcome.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day.
You don't have anything else? You don't want to give a shout out to anybody?
Oh, I shout out to my older sister Tanisa, get well, and my little sister, and all my friends in San Francisco, between San Francisco and New York. Shout out to Barbara Cassis and Moshe Moses, and God bless everybody.
All right. With that said, I'm George Bracey, and this is Trans World. Good night.